Six, seven, eight, nine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mic check. 1, 2. White balance, everyone. On my teeth. White balance. Yep. Channel 2. Darcy's on channel 1. NBC on channel 2. 1, 2, 3. Levels good. What if I step back a little bit? Is that still okay? Because, sometimes they step back and talk like this. All right. Yeah, because they probably going to do that. All right, you good? Everybody else good? All right, you good? Am I what? I don't know.
Hey everyone, we're going to get started in about 5 minutes with Mayor Bowser.
Quick check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Everybody ready? Good evening. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C. I am joined by members of my public safety team, including the Metropolitan Washington Police Department. We are joined in a response to a shooting on Connecticut Avenue in Washington, D.C. By our federal law enforcement partners. We are providing our second briefing on this active investigation. We have some additional details to provide in MPD and our partners to continue to investigate. I do want to say earlier when we talked about students from the Edmund Burke School who were in a lockdown situation. I'm pleased to say that we are beginning to reunify those students with their families. I want to continue to thank all of our residents for their patience and continue to ask them to follow law enforcement guidance so that we can locate the person responsible for this violence in our community and keep everyone safe. So with that, I'm going to turn to Assistant Chief Emerman, who is going to provide details of where we are with the investigation.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. Good evening. As we briefed a little while ago, our investigation is continuing here on our scene. At this time, based upon the things we have seen on social media, based upon the information that we are investigating, we are seeking a person of interest that we would like to speak with. That individual's name has come to light as a Raymond Spencer. He is a 23-year-old male. We will be posting information on our social media shortly to get the public that information. We would like to speak with Mr. Spencer. We'd like him to come forward to the police, turn himself in so we may speak with him further as a person of interest. As the mayor alluded to, we are in the process of working to get the students out of the schools that are in the area and get them towards our reunification center. Officers are still in those schools with those children, making sure that they are safe while we do that. If any parent or any family member is in contact with a student who is not in the presence of the officers that are in that school, if they're in a classroom, if they're somewhere where the officers aren't with a larger group, please tell those students to come down towards where the officers are in the building, in the hallways, so that way we can get everybody together and that way we can get them safely out of the school and back down to the reunification center with the families. I'll take any questions if we have. So his name came up through some of the social media things that we have seen so far. Again, we want to have a conversation with him. We want to figure out what's going on, if he is involved in this or not in any way, shape, or form. We do not know if he's in the area. We are working to determine whether he is or is not at this time. That is still part of our investigation.
There are bullet holes in storefronts down the street and also in a car. Is that related to what happened up here, or do you know?
So at this time, our detectives are aware of those. Our officers have responded down, and we've met with the individuals at those locations. We will be looking at that to see if it is linked forensically, but it is very possible.
Have any additional victims come forward?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you asking that question. A fourth victim did respond to our officers here on the scene. That individual is a mid-60s female who sustained a gunshot wound to the upper back, probably described as almost a graze wound, and medical treatment was rendered here on scene. That individual did not have to go to a hospital. But that is our fourth victim. Our updates on our other victims, the 54, I believe, year old male is stable at the hospital. The mid-30s female is also stable at the hospital. And as we said earlier, our 12-year-old female victim who was shot in the arm is also stable. So at this time, we have 4 victims that we are aware of.
Are you aware if this is connected at all to the triple shooting we saw on Kennedy Street this afternoon too?
I have no information that would lead me to believe it's related, but we will investigate all those angles.
Chief, you been able to locate where the shots came from this afternoon and where the victims were struck?
That is all still part of our active scene. We are still searching through buildings. We're still doing some tactical searches up in that area. So all of that will hopefully come to light.
Were the shots directed toward the glass bridge between the two buildings at Edwin Burke?
That we don't know at this time. We have not determined where the shots came from or where they were directed to.
Can you circle back to that video, the social media rumors about this being live streamed possibly by the Spencer shooter? You have an update on that?
So we are still looking at that to determine the authenticity of that. As I said earlier, this person of interest name is linked to some of those social media postings. So that's why we want to talk to that individual, is to determine that name does come back to an individual.
Can you tell us more about the other scene that was just referenced, where that was and when it was?
So the restaurant that was shot, that sustained damage, is further down here on the block on Connecticut. I apologize, I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but they came forward to us to let us know that they had received that damage to the property.
Was that before or after?
We were already on the scene here when we were alerted to what happened down there. So I'm not sure if they didn't know about it at the time, didn't realize it, but we're looking at it to see if it is in fact related.
Chief, do you know if this person identified with interest, if he's known to law enforcement at all, or if he's known to have any weapons or anything like that?
I don't have that information at this time. Again, at this time, we don't, we'd like to speak to Mr. Spencer, figure out, if he has any role in this or any connection to this, and hopefully that'll lead us in a direction to identify what happened here and why. We're going to be here until we're confident that we have the safety of the community in mind and that we're continuing this investigation.
Are you still asking folks to shelter in place where they are? Are you thinking about building by building?
So we are working to clear buildings as we can safely, similar to how we're doing it with the schools and with the reunification center. So as we can safely do it, but we still would appreciate folks not heading up towards that area of Connecticut Avenue.
Did you mention the age of Mr. Spencer in the description?
He's a 23-year-old male, and we're going to be putting his information up on our Twitter. It's been put on our Twitter already, in our social media accounts.
Were you asking people to shelter in place still?
We would prefer people to stay inside up there and to avoid that area. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I want to reiterate my thanks to all of our law enforcement partners who are here. It has been mentioned that MPD is also responding. 4D is responding to 2 sites. So we are very focused on getting people help and stopping gun violence. I think it should be mentioned that unfortunately I had to look in parents' eyes tonight who were terrified. And they were terrified thinking of what might happen to their children. And we have experienced this too much in our country. The epidemic of the gun violence, the easy access to weapons has got to stop. People should not be scared taking their children to school.